Nerdy, we're back. We have
We are
Lowkey,
back.
we have Doog, we have the 1 seed and the 2 seed. We have potentially the two best MCSR ranked players we've ever had. Lowkey going for his third playoffs win, Doog going for his second in a row. What better way to have a grand finals?
I mean, like you said, two absolute juggernauts. We have I could not be more excited about this match. Seeing, I've the matches I've commentated, I feel like Duke yesterday was on point. Lowkey yesterday was on point. Lowkey today, on point. Now, I know Duke did drop 2 seeds, but he still looked pretty good. I mean,
He
he's
killed
going
the
against
dragon in all 5 of them as well. Like it
exactly,
wasn't like he dropped
precisely.
seeds to dying, dropped seeds to, missing the 4, resetting anything in the overworld. Like he was within 20 seconds on the 2 seeds that he lost as well. Maybe the only person to kill the dragon 5 times in a series, at least in a best
Yeah,
of 5 for sure.
that might be true. But so, I mean, like we said, queued up a few days ago, 257 or 300 elo in one. I mean, what is that? How is that even possible? 83% win rate, super confident, super consistent player going against an absolute juggernaut that is Lowkey, that has literally not dropped a single seed this entire playoffs.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I played 2 series so far today and yesterday. He's 6-0 so far. Duke's dropped a couple seeds today. Let's throw it into the player cards just to really see the player win loss, and then we'll get over to the seed stats as well. Only nine matchups between the two players. Could just be time slot thing as well when they're queuing, because obviously they're able to queue each other every time they're queuing up. 4 and 5, very close. Literally couldn't be closer. Over 9 games.
Yeah, and I mean, these stats obviously ridiculous. 1001 average, 715 best, rank time 730, RSG PB. I mean, literally any of these numbers that you want to pick out, they are phenomenal. Season 5 playoffs winner. So this is the chance for a back-to-back playoffs win, Feinberg. I mean, that is something. I mean, I would love to see that. And also just, I feel like there's just so much on the line here as far as who is the best Minecraft player. I mean, a lot of people will say Lowkey, a lot of people will say Doog. I feel like this solidifies it. Speaking of which, here's Lowkey, 656 best ranked time, 1003 average time, also 941. It's not on the board, but 941 average for this new season. So just absolutely ridiculous stuff. Has a little bit of an edge on that win-loss, and then just a 69% win rate. I mean, just ridiculous stats across the board.
Yeah, I mean, the point, like you said, who really is the best Minecraft speedrunner? These guys combined, not even including this season, have won 60% of all the playoffs that has happened. And including this season, one of them has to win 2/3 of all the playoffs that have ever happened. They've won 4 of them split between the two. Is it going to be Lowkey winning 3 and Doog winning 1? Or is it going to be them both winning 2? Can Doog string together the first back-to-back playoffs wins? Got a lot to prove today. Let's look at the seed stats specifically. And I mean, it's been the story today. Like the numbers, they're just so similar. Like, what do you pick? Like, does anything matter? Like so similar on all these numbers. Like Lowkey's Desert Temple's 30 seconds slower, I guess. That's the only like significant thing. 7% win rate on BT seeds, but they both have sub 10 BT. The room portal's almost sub 10 for Lowkey, sub 10 for Doog. Like exact same stats for Shipwreck. The
That
same
might it
everything.
seems suspicious to me. I almost wonder if there's something a little off there. But regardless, I mean the point is both of these runners are ridiculous. And I don't know, I don't think they're gonna be necessarily, thinking they have some huge advantage if they're on one seed type over the other. They know that no matter what they pick, it's probably just gonna be what they're comfortable with, like personally. I don't think they're gonna be really thinking about the other opponent here because the other opponent is just so good on whatever seed type it is.
Yeah, it's just going to come down to those really small micro decisions in the nether, micro inventory stuff, all the mechanics, and just, what you're going to be able to lock in with. Like we saw, I mean, Lowkey, even in his first best of 5 he played today, was down to 11 pearls on that 1 seed, and that could just be, a mental lapse. So just trying to be as comfortable as possible to be able to lock in on the seed that you're playing, knowing you're playing someone the caliber of Doogile, right? Like, these guys are making their own caliber right now of player into this grand finals. I'm ready to see the seed pick bans. It's going to look a little squished when we throw it over. This is a best of 7 as a reminder. So players do have to win 4 games. And we're starting off with a buried treasure overworld.
And yeah, like you said, Buried Treasure, Overworld. We also have Village and Ruined Portal banned. That's a little bit disappointing for me, to be honest. I would have loved to see these two go against each other on a Ruined Portal, but maybe we'll see Lowkey pick Ruined Portal later. Because that is, we're going to see a map 4, right? So that is guaranteed. I do wonder, so with Buried Treasure, do you think it's just, it's just the reliable fast seed? Is that the extent of it?
Yeah, it's just something that's going to be consistent. You're going to have a good way to get blocks like a very, very vast majority of the time. Really, it has to be like 8 iron, no TNT to not get good blocks. Like you're almost always going to be able to get shears or TNT or both. The BT is always very findable. Like shipwrecks even can sometimes be hidden behind terrain on the island. Sometimes you can't really see it right away. Like BT should just be there for both players. Very, very consistent type of overworld as long as the ravine's spottable and easily findable by both the runners. I can't expect more than a few seconds of variation on this overworld.
And yeah, I mean, phenomenal stuff. I'm just ready to get into Minecraft. I don't know about you, Feinberg. Let's do this.
I've been
As
ready.
we
Seed 1, Seed 2, tied at the end of the season in ELO. The only
Wow.
2 players to be over 200 face points last season, and they were both over 250. That's the gap they have among the rest of the competition, and that's why they're here today.
They are searching for the BT here. I always like to see, maybe this will be indicative of some confidence, some decision making, things like that. You can see Lowkey does get it a little bit earlier, and I believe he did on the
It's a
previous seed
9
too.
iron, so we're barely saved here for shears.
There we go.
Low-key
There we
not
go.
going to be able to make an
Maybe he's
iron
not going
axe
to
on this
craft them.
seed.
Maybe he's just
No,
going to,
if
throw you off, Feinberg. And
I have been thrown off a lot today and yesterday, but if we're not making shears here, I don't know what
would
we're
have been
doing. And there the shears craft comes out.
the Iron Sword craft. There you go. But no, we have lots of very similar routing here. I don't see any differences so far between the two runners. We have 6 food, so definitely on the better end of food as far as BTs are concerned. Who do you think with low food, high food? How do you think these two runners' play styles compares? Which one do you think this six food favors, if any?
They're just both so good. I really think it's not going to have that much of an impact. I don't see one of them being like exceptionally better or worse at low versus high food. They're here. They're so good at everything the game has to offer. Like
True.
we saw Lowkey crush a Rune Portal Seed today, where he didn't
Yep.
have food at all against Hex. I mean, granted, Hex had a reset in the overworld, but Lowkey crushed it with a couple hunger resets and managed his health really well. So
Yep.
they're just
So I mean,
both the best
everyone's
players.
comfortable with everything. I think at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it is exactly as you put it. As we enter the Nether now, both on very similar paces here.
You're
Lowkey again
within
with
5 seconds.
just a little bit of an edge, but not too much.
Within 1 second of
We're now
each other entering.
we're into a Soul Sand Valley here.
No spike yet. It's a late spike.
Ooh, yeah.
Duke's not entirely
Also,
confident, but he is now.
now movement is something that I definitely want to keep an eye on throughout this match. I mean, Doog is known for having
What
incredible
terrain are we
bridging,
committing to?
incredible.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Lowkey's committing upper
Ooh,
terrain here. Duke's going to extend out forward. And this upper terrain looks like it instantly dies for Lowkey. He might just fall back down to the lower. So that's some pretty significant time loss. And he's got 2 skeletons here to deal with as well.
I'm liking Doog's position here. Lowkey having to deal with all these skeletons is definitely not ideal. Meanwhile, this upper terrain that Doog took and with the bridging is turning out well as he now sees the Bastion heading right towards it. Meanwhile, Lowkey just trailing a bit behind despite entering the Nether just a little bit sooner.
Duke with a skeleton of his own to bring that RNG back a little bit into an equilibrium. But he's getting this bridge out, Nerdy, like you said, probably 10, maybe even 15 seconds faster. And the fort's visible, it's a stables, and it's a big difference in routing already. Lowkey's down, bottom of the
Ooh.
Bastion, Duke at the top. Could be a lot of
Oh, and look at
time
that.
save or time loss.
There's 6 obsidian immediately. I'm expecting to see probably I expect to see a triple to good gap here. Is what I'd hope to see, or hopefully I'm right there.
That's what Duke is doing right now. The left triple going to be converting that into a left good gap as well. And it's just faster than Lowkey. He's already mining this gold. Lowkey's got to check the chest. He's hit off the Bastion.
It's okay. Lowkey's recovering a little bit from that bit of a mistake there, but regardless, Doog now heading down towards the good gap. potentially, as he grabs yet
And a
another
really
chest.
nice pivot here. Getting the chest in the middle. It's an interesting double chest pivot route, like from left triple. I really don't know what to call it, but checking just as many chests as he possibly can, because every string could matter, every gold block, every obsidian could matter
Yep.
in a stables, and there's just so many chests scattered everywhere.
And now Duke just, getting the route all
Lowkey in
ready
a
to
little
go.
bit
I
of a
mean,
sticky situation. He's handled it though. No
yep.
damage even.
And
Similar pivot
like we
route on that
said, I mean,
chest.
he's just a little bit behind there. Obviously doing a very similar route, but Duke has just made up a lot of time, I guess, mainly, I feel like, just from the lack of mistakes in the Bastion and also not having to deal with that skeleton with his routing to the Bastion. So I feel like that is a very solid lead here for Duke. Maybe an early bit of confidence that you could start to build if you're a Duke enjoyer.
Yeah, I really liked his decision to, use the leaves that we gathered and build up to the top of the stables. It's just so easy to start the triple to gap route from the top there. And Lowkey, not only did he fall down, like it's okay, to maybe fall down to the top of the bad side, and kind of run across the top, get to the triple that way. But Lowkey went all the way down to the very, very bottom of the Bastion. And yes, you do get that bottom chest. But compared to Doog, right, you're getting the top triples and you're getting the top double chests as well. And the time save on the route shows he's at the spawner,
Yeah.
the fort, I'm sorry, like 15, 20 seconds faster probably. We'll see when Lowkey gets here. But this is a lot of time save from Doog right now. A lot of lead.
And there's two blazes immediately that spawn on him. He's got several strays in the back. I sort of don't expect he's going to go for that, as he's just going to go for the blaze bed instead. But, I mean, yeah, just very solid lead for Doog.
Skeleton stray,
and
two
it
skeletons.
seems
They
like-
both walk off. Smartest mob in the game, by the way.
Like we've said before, as good as Lowkey is, I mean, I don't want to be behind Doog in a Minecraft speedrun.
And look at this
I
situation.
don't want that at
Lowkey's
all.
going up here for the chest. It's that 6 obsidian chest that I think Doog checked off the rip on the route. Yeah, Lowkey only has 16 obsidian, so
Wow.
still not in the fort. It's been over 30 seconds at this point.
Yeah,
There's the
huge lead.
obsidian. And the difference in routing just is going to determine the entire seed. Lowkey has so much ground to catch up.
Now, can he do that? I mean, we've seen Lowkey do some pretty incredible stuff, so I definitely would not count Lowkey out by any means yet. But regardless, Doog's lead is solidifying here, as he now has 5 rods and is blinding. Meanwhile, Lowkey is just now blaze betting.
Yeah, Doog very, very ahead here. We have a lot of explosives as well. I think we have mats for ground zero. We're caved. Wow, we are caved by a lot. That was
Wow.
092, it seems. Under mountains, rare situation for ranked, but he's got it handled very, very nicely. And Lowkey, if he builds his portal in the same spot, probably will get caved as well.
And
But
not
we
going to pick
won't
up the eye. Going to just go back. I mean, he must have enough rods to just leave, I suppose. And it looks like that is that 1800? I can't quite read it, but I believe
Yeah,
it says
pretty
around
far.
1800.
I mean, still
So
2
pretty far.
salmon. But Lowkey, like, only on 3 rods. There's the 4th. This might be the 5th, but has to still measure. And if he gets caved, I mean, that's his only, real hope for a lot of time save that's left in the seed, apart from, the stronghold and the 0. It's a slightly different spot for the portal. He's on a different part of this 4-way. I'd imagine he still gets caved.
Here we go.
Yes.
So Lowkey now blinding, but looks like Doog is just potentially just right on coordinates here as he's building his portal. Can he nav this stronghold quickly? I mean, he is several. I mean, we have not seen Lowkey drop a single seed, and now Doog is like an entire split ahead. I mean, this is just incredible stuff from Doog.
Just fully down to the better play in the Bastion, the better decision making on how he handled that terrain. He got a good spike this direction, but he's not loving it when he scans deeper.
But no, he finds it right away. I mean, that was basically an instant nav there from Doog, as he now is into the end. I mean, this is very open. 7 beds. Going for the back 0 here.
2 anchors as well. He's got food to eat after this pearl. It's 90. It's 100. So he's gonna. Ooh, this is weird. 99 standing. It's gonna be close. This is really offset, and he's got to eat a salmon in the middle of this as well. I'm a little worried for his situation.
Oh,
but that's great, KB. That's a good double bed. Only 1 bed left, and then anchors. And I don't know if this anchor is gonna break the crystal or not. It doesn't. He gets 1 more. He might die though.
Oh my god!
Oh goodness. 1 heart left.
Out there. But
Wow.
Doog did manage to make it work. 1.5 hearts. I mean, very clutch 0 there from Doog, able to take this seed 1. And Feinberg, that is Lowkey's first loss.
Lowkey barely gets in the end. We'll get to see the splits at least. I was gonna say this, and it's like such a significant loss as well. That's like 50 seconds.
Right?
And I mean,
And
so close to a potential loss for Doog as well, though. That 0 down to 1 heart at the end, needed to eat that last salmon mid-cycle. And it's such a weird offset on 99 there. T100, back to 100. Very, very hard to hit with the pearls. Didn't have a great third pearl, so had to go for a side setup. And he was like shaky on the Y coordinate. You know, you want to stand at like 91, 95, 99 for the best damage and the best dragon not breaking the bed, and he was pretty shaky building up there. I think maybe he wanted to be at 95 and then saw that he was at 97, 98, had to push it, but he got it done on the last explosive with 1 heart left.
yeah, and I really want to, I know it's going to sound subtle because it looks like there's a huge difference between enter Bastion to enter Fortress and not as much of a difference between enter Nether and enter Bastion. But I really want to point out that split because I, you know, in my studying, the main thing that I noticed about Doog, and the main thing that that Silver informed me about Doog was to really keep an eye on his nav 2 structures. That he's an incredibly talented player when it comes to movement, and that he'll just kind of miraculously save time on runners that you won't even necessarily pick up on just with subtle movement things, subtle movement decisions. And this is exactly what we had here. Not only was he into the Bastion faster, but he was into a part of the Bastion that actually ended up helping him more, right? With the chest that Lowkey had to get at the very end. And that was the big pace lock for Lowkey. So I feel like this could be indicative of potential future wins for Duke, or Lowkey might be able to use some of his other skills, some of his other strengths compared to Doogile in order to take these future seeds, but we will have to find out.
Yeah, I think those 6 seconds, just a little bit better terrain decision, like you said, better movement. And then even just like a second here and there on the rest of the splits into the stronghold, into the end, even just that small micro. Doog might be more on point today. We'll have to see if we can keep that up in a seed 2. Let's see what Lowkey picked for us. It's the Desert Temple. So Shipwreck seed 3 will be the pick. No 2 ocean seeds in a row. Sending it over to the AA runners. Best. I couldn't finish the sentence. I don't know where I was going. I'm sorry.
I know.
It's
I
okay.
knew what you meant, Feinberg. I understood. The AA runner's dream. We'll say that. How about that?
In my brain, I was
Yeah.
gonna say like their best nightmare because I was just thinking worst nightmare, and I just couldn't. I couldn't get the word together.
I mean, dream. You're close enough. We knew what you meant there. But yeah, I mean, Desert Temple. It's definitely. I think we're gonna see very similar routing. I don't necessarily have anything that I'd say. I mean, I'm ready to get into the Minecraft here if you are.
Yeah, me too, man. I mean, it's so individual seed dependent, right? Like, is the Flint gonna be in an annoying spot? Like, we haven't seen it yet. Actually, I think we did see it once this playoffs, like a Flint versus a Woodlight decision, right? Like, if there's no close river, we did see, I think, 1 or 2 Woodlights happen either yesterday or last week. I can't fully remember the specific game, but there's a river here next to the temple, so that shouldn't be a problem. There's dark oak trees, acacia trees, couple animals in this acacia as well. I see a cow. No lava pool,
And
but that's it.
there we have it. It's taking slightly different terrain there to the temple center, but both arriving at a very similar time here as both digging down. I expect to see the same routing. We have seen slightly different choices here, but usually there's the one that ends with 7 in the inventory. That's how I'm going to mark it, and there you go. You can see and
The
7
lower
TNT.
yep. And there's
in the
some
inventory
gravel
at the
down
end.
here. Duke might have gotten Flint off of that explosion. He did get 2. I wonder if Lowkey did or not. I think they did it actually on different sides. Their TNT was on different sides of the bottom of the temple.
Yeah.
So Lowkey might need to blow up different. No, he does have 1 Flint. Pretty important as well too, because the Flint and Steel, not only is it just nice to have Flint, but it lets you blow up a TNT in a different spot. Lowkey doing a high TNT here, Dude doing a low TNT. The major difference is wood count versus dirt count, but not too good for Lowkey. You got 1 extra log, but way less dirt for the blocks.
Right.
Probably a minor thing in the grand scheme of things. Maybe the 1 log is better than 48 dirt. I don't know.
Killing some cows here for Doogile, hopefully getting, some good food. Meanwhile, Lowkey, I guess not choosing yet. Oh, no, now going, of course, as I start saying that. going for the cows. I mean, I don't know though. Is he going to get as much food as Doogile? This could be a bit of a difference in this seed for these runners. Both runners just looking for the lava pool, just not anything in sight, it seems like to me.
Yeah, I mean, Duke running more into this desert. I kind of like the play here. Maybe you get on top of the dark oak trees and look around. Lowkey looking around as well. Maybe see something here.
Lowkey going into the savannah does
Yeah, he's got
find.
something on the side of the savannah. Duke has nothing so far. Punished for the direction he ran. You know, I don't really hate either way these runners went, but this is a lot of time.
I mean, I'm not seeing
And yeah,
where.
Duke still nothing.
Meanwhile, Lowkey is into the nether here, and looks like he does. I believe that's a bridge bastion, so able
There's the lava pool for
to.
Duke. So he's in, but it's much slower, maybe 20 seconds, and that's a lot of time. When
Yeah,
these
I mean,
splits have
that's
been so close between these runners.
definitely unfortunate there for Doogile, but we do have now Lowkey entering the bridge bastion and onto the chalice. So this is a very, very strong lead. I think this is going to be tough for Doog, but we have seen Doog, you know, make up time before. It's it's definitely not by any means his, you know, Lowkey's automatic win here.
No, not at all. Blowing up the TNT on the chalice, Lowkey did a bit ago. Now we'll see Duke do the same thing. Lowkey right triple, already preset up here because of the terrain that he took. Duke's gold blocks almost fall off.
Oh man, that would have been an absolute disaster.
Barely
But
can catch them.
let's see what route we get from Doog here.
There's
Looks
a
like he's
very
gonna.
weird DK. There's a tree here in the way. But I don't
Yeah,
think it's
definitely.
going to matter too much. He's going to actually do what he
Oh
talked
no.
about a lot earlier, the DK Jason pivot here. But this is really awkward terrain. He's got the
Yeah.
pigs sort of stuck right here. And this dig through's fine. But how do we let these guys in? There we go.
Let's figure it
And he
out.
blocks them off. He's letting up. It's so complex here, though. It's the problem, Nerdy. He's spending so much time wrangling all these pigs. He's even got a guy down here. Has to mine so much out. Lowkey just opt for the basic right triple crack smoker route. And it seems like he's even gained more time in this bastion.
And it does look like he's already got the direction towards the chalice, essentially. Or towards the inside structure of the bastion, however you want to frame that. And he does craft his iron bars now. Lowkey is looking very solid here. Doog as well, you know, not in too bad of a position by any means, but definitely still behind. And as you mentioned with the difference in the bastion route, I don't know if his bastion route's going to save time. We'll have to see. Meanwhile,
I mean,
looks
Lowkey's
like
just
Lowkey
leaving.
is just
This isn't even a
pearling out.
pearling. He's just gone. Yeah. Over almost 2 stacks of pearls, 27 obby. And the fort is right here. When is Duke going to
Right
trigger
onto the
this
fort.
pearling? When is he going to leave? Are the trades enough? The speed of the piglins. Only 3 beds worth of explosives. Couple anchors. It's a 5 bed. Is he going to send it? He is. Confident with 0 on 5 explosives. Has to
And
make up time somehow. But I think he's 20 seconds behind entering this fort.
Lowkey now doing the 4 TNT setup. I believe that is called the raised donut. And clearing out lots of things.
It's everything. Not going to have to
He's-
worry about blocks at all this seed. And I wonder if Lowkey has more than 5 explosives. I think he has a little bit less gold in his inventory. I think he traded a 1 or 2 more cycles. Duke may be pressured to leave early knowing he's behind from the overworld. But if it's a
4
hard
rods, only
0...
5 rods. These rates are incredible. Which means that, again, it's just reducing the variance, right? Which gives the person ahead the advantage. And
yeah, and
so,
Lowkey has so many explosives. 4 beds,
yeah,
5
just
anchors
again,
able to
yeah,
craft.
wow.
An crazy amount of glowstone.
And now crafting the eyes and leaving to measure the eyes. We will have to see here a sub 6 measurement split there for Lowkey. Very solid stuff. Meanwhile,
I mean,
Duke
is
at
it
a
a different
spawner.
spawner? Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
only thing I've noticed here. But that's...
Oh, 622 though.
Yeah, like
627?
800,
672?
600. It's less
Something
than
like that.
1,000, so it should be the same stronghold.
Yep.
And we're in an ocean, so it could even be ocean exposed, so we might not even need preemptive. There might even be no variance there if it's an ocean exposed portal room. Loki's able
Wonder
to
if it's
leave.
going to be even
Takes a
closer
little
for
bit of a
Doog, though.
fall.
It is possible it's in the direction of Doog.
Yeah, I don't know where the other spawner is. I don't think Loki's running this way, though.
Yeah, I'm just not sure. And
But it's
now, I
beautiful
mean,
terrain
Loki's just like
towards.
basically ready to go here.
Yeah.
And
One more pearl. 1 heart, but should be free from any danger here. It's a little awkward on this terrain, though. He's got to take out the ceiling. Yeah. Getting the blocks down here, it does get awkward sometimes. But no, he's actually just going into the wall here, so... A little shaky on the terrain, to be honest. You know, a couple pearls left and right. Didn't fully zone in on the cords for a while. But there we go. That's a big spike. But like I said, ocean exposed.
Ocean exposed. Is he able to just swim out and see it? Not anything immediately. But he seems to like this direction.
Dude getting the cords now as well. Doesn't have a gold pick, it doesn't look like. And he's taking the same terrain path that Lowkey did. Oh, trying to hunger reset, and there's water here. That should be fine for the items.
Wow, yeah. Nice stuff. Good recovery there from Lowkey. I mean, once again, just quickly fixing little inaccuracies.
Is this the spike? No. Very awkward. Duke's going to look out for this as well, and Lowkey finds it.
Lowkey finds it, trusting that spike from the beginning. Getting the 2-eye, and now entering the end here. It is encaged, but...
I mean, he's got a gold pick for the cage, too. Duke doesn't have a gold pick for the cage. He has way more explosive, some rotten flesh as well, to let him heal up through the 0.
And now getting the 0 ready. Can Lowkey close out this siege?
Standing at 91. This could break the bed. No.
Oh, what a fantastic
very low
first
odds
bed
to
there.
break the bed. He dodges it.
Very good stuff from Lowkey. Trying to get this anchor here.
Anchor.
And wow, half a heart.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, that was just an incredible play. I mean, that was a bit risky there for sure, but I guess he just trusted. He knew how much he could
maybe just wasn't thinking about it, or maybe tried to block clutch and couldn't get it done. Almost dies after the 0, but he hits it. Duke's dragon's dead. His dragon's dead. He's still killed the dragon in every game he's played today.
I'm going to be very, very curious to look at these splits here. So, yeah. So 29-second nether enter difference. That is the main issue here, right?
Yeah.
But it looks to me like basically nothing happened different in the found stronghold split. You can see as far as their nethers were about the same. And then Doog, though, enters the end faster. Enters the end faster relative to their found stronghold split. Their stronghold nav was the same speed. That's what I'm trying to say. And so that's very interesting. I guess, just a little bit less hesitant, not having to maybe hunger reset with the water below him and all of that. So that definitely was good from Doogile. But I mean, mainly the siege just ultimately came down to that overworld.
Yeah, Lowkey just running a better direction for that lava pool. Maybe running away from the forest. Super hard to see a lava pool in the Dark Oak if one can even generate there. So Lowkey committing to the savannah. Maybe not as good as the desert for lava pool surface generation, but he finds one there, enters faster, and that's the time save that carries him through the whole seed. Like you said, looking at the splits, really nothing Dude could have done. I mean, he did his best. He got back 12 seconds in the Nether. It just wasn't enough when you're down 30. Entering. Yeah. And Lowkey ties up the best of 7 1-1.
And what a phenomenal first 2 seeds here. As you said, 1-1. I mean, I don't know. I am thoroughly excited to see where we go from here. I mean, this is exactly what I was hoping for. I'm going to be honest. I was kind of worried after seeing Lowkey play so well that we would see like a Lowkey sweep or something like that, which, could have been interesting, but I was really hoping to see a good final match. And the fact that we're starting off 1-1, that's exactly what I wanted to see.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, Game 7, that's what we're all hoping for regardless. But we have the Fulham mid-match analysis. Throw it over to him, see what he can break down these first 2 seeds. And we'll be back here for Game 3 in just a bit.
Amazing stuff. Thank you very much, guys, in the booth. Grand finals of MCSR playoffs. And we have a 1-1 after 2 seeds. Now, honestly, the clips are so few and far between in this exact time for this exact playoff match for me to analyze, simply because there are so few mistakes for these runners. Let's talk about like the only real mistake that we saw in seed number 1, and that was Lowkey's both movement towards the Bastion and play in the Bastion itself. I've tried to summarize that in one small clip here. After opening up the path down to be able to take this good gap, wants to try and grab the triple here, and does get hit off, which does, you know, kind of epitomizes that this is something that is worth bringing up. This is a 3, 4, 5 second time loss here. This kind of does spiral alongside the terrain decision to navigate to the fortress, as well as traveling down and starting the route from the bottom of the Bastion. Sorry, correcting myself. I didn't mean to say fortress there. Heading towards the Bastion, entering from the bottom rather than the top where Doogile did. He was much closer to the chests, much faster to be able to leave as well, as Lowkey did end up only having around about 19 or I think maybe 16 obsidian, needing to grab that top chest after the entirety of the Bastion was traded. That definitely led to a big disparity between the runners. And by big, I do only mean 50 seconds. Like, that's the kind of level that we're talking between the runners here. Simply because this one mistake is the only mistake that was made, really, in this seed. Throughout navigating the Bastion itself, that small knockoff, and then entering from the bottom, really were the only mistakes that Lowkey made. And being honest with you, Doogile pretty much played this first seed flawlessly, in my opinion. Entering the Nether only a few seconds behind, maybe the only important thing was the overworld that could have caused a slight issue. Then playing this 0, he had a little bit of shakes during that, but at the end of the day, the dragon did die after a few more explosives than may have been comfortable for Doog. Maybe he wanted to get this done with 1 or 2 fewer explosions, but in the end, did end up killing the dragon. Had to use every single anchor, surviving on 1 HP, but was able to do exactly that and get down to the bottom and take the first seed comfortably, while Lowkey just about entered the end. Let's talk about the difference in the second seed, however. Let's talk about the difference in routes here. Lowkey going for that Crack Smoker or Funky Kong route, going and getting things done a lot faster than Doogile. But I wanted to also note, look at the terrain around the Bastion here. As he opens up this terrain, notice in our top right screen up here, look at all of this connected terrain to this rampart. We have pigs that are out here that can get aggroed and simply wander towards this rampart. That is something that maybe, due to line of sight and piglin interactions, if you're playing that low hole, which Doogile ends up playing because he goes for the Jason route, this line of sight may be more difficult for the piglins to see. They're less likely to come and path from the top of this terrain from all the way out here to come into the rampart, path down the staircase and into the hole. Whereas Lowkey, who has made the hole at the top, is much more likely to get a few of those wandering pigs, possibly, from around in the Crimson terrain. Of course, look at how comfortable this sort of level is. If you see a piglin here, it's easy to lure him into this hole. Whereas if you're down at the bottom of Jason, all the way down here, you can't tell if maybe there's a piglin up here. You can't tell if that piglin is actually aggroed or if it has line of sight, etc. And that small thing, just the difference between these two routes, which are both very fast routes, bear in mind, made pretty much all the difference in this seed too. Doogile ended up being the slightly slower one. You can tell he wanted to go for Jason here, ends up trying to go Donkey Kong pivot, which doesn't end up working ideally well. Instead going for this Jason route, kind of wrangling these pigs around the lava, around the terrain. It's kind of built in here, which is something that he's not used to. He usually plays Donkey Kong in everything apart from the built-in ones. Maybe he thought it was exposed, or maybe he just believed that the Donkey Kong was too hard to do because of the tree that was in the way. But Lowkey able to take out this second seed with a very nice, very comfortable 0 cycle, even replacing the soul soil there in case any fire tick spread. at the last second. So that's a really nice heads-up play by Lowkey, able to take out this seed. Does fall a little bit further than he would have liked, and obviously half a heart more, and he would have taken a death there. Given the fact that Doogile did finish out this 0 with just a few seconds behind, it could have made all the difference, but it hasn't so far. 1 seed apiece, and I will see you after seed 4.
Thank you so much, Fulham, as always.
As always, exactly.
And we are back here for seed number 3, Feinberg. Who's winning seed 3, Feinberg? What do you any early predictions?
I mean, what? Let's look at the seed pick just to remind us. I think we're going to a shipwreck seed for seed 3. And I mean, Doog won the first overworld, the ocean overworld. You know, can't get lost at a lava pool. Could get lost at a magma ravine, but I'm going to take Doog again.
You take Doog again. Okay. You know what? I'll be a contrarian. I'll take Lowkey. I think Lowkey has been playing very well throughout. I mean, sure, the terrain nav in seed 1 maybe wasn't as good, but I feel like that is a very small thing compared to the other, I guess, 7 wins that he's got. I mean, he's 7-1 right now, if you think about it like that. So I'm gonna take Lowkey.
All right, we'll see who wins. Let's get into the gameplay. Into seed 3, and then we'll get to seed 4 obviously after, and the loser can get to pick from any of the remaining, or any of the 5 overworlds. They'll all, you know, go back into the pool, refresh, whatever you want to call it. But this is the shipwreck, the last seed yet to be played.
And here we are. Let's see what we've got here. Scanning for the shipwreck. Immediately
no
finding
problems
it.
finding it. Yeah, that's good. Saw that
And
yesterday.
looks like Doogile spots the ravine in reverse, you know, F5 mode there. So able to get a sense of where he's going later on after looting this
The
this
one
shipwreck.
gravel here is so annoying.
It's so awkward. It looks like, though, Lowkey, look at this, going to be actually mining out the wood here. Meanwhile,
Yeah, this is a big difference, honestly. The 2 wood here. I wonder if he did this just to commit. You know, he was going to take a little bit of drowning damage, or if this is just the uber variance play. I was going to mention the shears on the island, but are we just going to get the wood in the ship?
oh,
Doors here, wood here, and then leave?
what an interesting decision here. Not expected at all, but it looks like this might actually be like fairly quick here. Is it going to be
it's so
faster than
fast.
Doog?
He's out to the ravine right away. Like, Duke's still on the island, has to get wood, has to do crafting. He has 2 logs here. Maybe Lowkey just, you know, took an insane mental note of the trees on the island and knew that, you know, there's not that much wood anyways.
Wow. And very
look-
interesting decision here. But this is way faster.
Yeah, I was expecting, you know, maybe 20, 30 seconds of a gap here. Like, it's insane. And Duke's going to hit this room portal too. So this is such a gap on the overworld.
And it's one of those things where Doog doesn't even necessarily know. He won't even necessarily know.
Wow,
He did wrong.
11 carrots, gold carrots, but we have
Oh,
some
wow.
from we have 8 carrots from the food chest. Shouldn't matter too much.
Yeah, I mean,
Lowkey,
we'll
he
have to
has to
see.
spend
We'll have to
some
see if that
time.
matters. I mean, that could matter.
Yeah, I mean, Lowkey's spending some time getting blocks here, building with his wood.
Now,
Dude finally
entering the nether.
entering.
But I mean, as we can see, Lowkey just having to get some blocks. I mean,
I know, he's mining a little bit. It's going to slow him down on this movement just slightly. And if this Bastion train is a little annoying, you know, have to go up somewhere. Dude struggling with the portal a little bit. He's got, yes, he finds it now. Needs to fix that leaf. So a lot of struggle for this portal for Doog.
And lots of wood gathering here for Lowkey.
Yeah, just
Up
for the
to-
blocks, I think. You don't have to build up to this Bastion. I think it's bridge.
Yep.
Yeah,
it
so
is
need
bridge.
not blocks not only to get up, but blocks for the route. So it's a lot of time lost, but he's just like ahead of Doog positionally.
Right.
He's at the Bastion. Doog's not at the Bastion.
And now finally getting to the chalice. I mean, we can just compare. So let's see, 250, 248 roughly is when the mining began there for Lowkey. I wonder how much time this is going to be, time gap this is going to be for Doog. I mean, keep in mind, he does have the carrots, but as we mentioned,
There's,
I mean,
there's 8 carrots.
is
Like,
so
you can
good.
just craft those. You have so much gold from the chalice. Yeah.
see as Lowkey now begins this bridge route. It's looking fairly similar to last seed with the
Oh, Duke hits the boat clutch, but he fell
Lowkey
off the bridge. That's a lot of time loss.
entering the bridge
Lowkey's
bastion.
doing DK. That's a really early aggro. I think it's because the right side or left side is not a triple. No, he's just aggroing in the middle for some reason. Okay,
Now
haven't seen that one
mining that
before.
gold block. Getting all these piglins into the hole for the DK route. I mean, just good stuff from Lowkey, just playing very consistently, making it very hard for Duke to make up really
He's like
any time.
He's like 45 seconds ahead on the chalice mine.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's it's just these decisions that we sort of question, but then I don't know, they end up working.
Yeah, it's so against like the theory of ranked to just play that shipwreck there, get no extra blocks on the island, but you're in so much faster. And like I mentioned earlier, maybe you're thinking, hey, these are playoff seeds, right? Like they're not gonna put us in a wall. They're not gonna put us over a lava lake. I mean, you can't be sure, you can't be like totally sure of that, but it's something that's maybe thought about when looking at seed finding, right? Like just in general, like a basalt enclosed fortress, like you're not going to have any of those terrible, terrible, terrible seeds. And that's a big part of why you want to get a ton of blocks. Because on great seeds like this, I mean, even on okay seeds like this, like Lowkey needed blocks, but you can just get them in the nether.
And there Lowkey goes. He's done, but oh man, falls a little bit.
Second fall.
Able to recover that, but still a little bit of a mishap there from Lowkey. And Doogile is still just in the bastion as Lowkey enters the fortress here. I mean, Lowkey is playing exceptionally well right now and making it as difficult as possible for Doogile to make up any
pearls
time.
to the spawner as well. Yeah, 2 pearls just thrown. Maybe only saved him 3 total seconds of running. There's another aggressive pearl.
And
but he's got the carrots to heal it up.
Does make his way to the blaze spawner now. That routing looked pretty clean to me overall. We'll have to see what Doogile can do to make up any of this time, if he even can.
It's just so weird. If you're Duke, like, what win condition are you playing for here, right? Like, Lowkey's so far ahead already. Are you maybe trying to trade more and just hope that you can get a ground zero off and Lowkey can't? Or just hope that there's some more variant? Like, how do you introduce variance in a situation like this? How do you make that play that saves you so much time? Because we're out of the overworld. You can't just, skip going back to the island. You have to go to the fort. You have to go to the stronghold.
No, that's absolutely true, Feinberg. And he's also, seemingly making some mistakes there as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's a minute behind on just the fort enter. Even if he finds the spawner at the same speed that Lowkey did, he's still going to be a full minute behind.
Yeah, and, he does have some golden carrots ahead, which maybe if Lowkey really runs out of food here, that could be a good thing for Doog, but that's kind of the only difference here, the only advantage I can possibly give Doog.
I mean, yeah, look at this. No, Lowkey has 5 explosives only. Doog has a lot more.
Oh, I didn't catch that. That's a very good
I think Doog has a lot more, at least. I'm not 100% positive, but Lowkey only 5 explosives, so the ground zero is not possible.
Is that from the extra gold that he got from the rune portal, maybe?
He did get 2 extra gold blocks in the rune portal. That's true. Also doesn't have to spend 8 gold crafting golden carrots. Has 11 from the rune portal also. No, but Doog still only 41 string. Doog also on 3 explosives. Or 5 in total. 3 bed, 2 anchor. Yeah, so.
I thought
ended up not mattering. No, you're right though. 2 extra gold blocks from the rune portal and the lack of crafting golden carrots just ended up not mattering in this situation. But it's a 5 explosive zero. Those aren't free by any means. We've seen them hit a lot of 5 explosive zeros today. But certain towers, certain rotations, like side setups, very, very hard, if not impossible even, on certain zeros.
And we have 8 rods here for Doog as Lowkey is now leaving, heading towards.
He's so ahead. Has gold picks pre-crafted, like 4 of them, it seems.
I mean, both runners just really taking advantage of the other runner's mistakes. But the other runners, not even necessarily, like we said, mistakes, just like these good plays are really just separating one runner from the next. Like that play in the very beginning of the seed to choose not to go back to the island. That has been the entire thing. But
Lowkey falling 3 hearts. Wow, scary. And he's got
Oh,
1 golden
man.
carrot, so there's going to be a hunger reset coming out in the portal room.
And
At least I think, oh my god, he can't get the block off. The zombie piglin in the way. Maybe this golden carrot actually heals him up to 10. I don't know how good they are from this one hearts down. He's just so ahead, though. Duke's heading to chords now. He has the gold picks. He is making up time. This isn't like a full minute behind like he was.
I mean, you don't want someone like Doog behind you. I'll say that. Like, Doog is going to catch up in every possible way that he can. And now going for the hunger reset. And
again, 5 explosives for the 0.
Yeah.
This could be messy. 053, so we're out already.
All the pressure on right now. Can Lowkey hit this 0? It's a back dragon. So
yeah, and it's a side setup, so he's just not even going to commit to it. I wonder if Doog will do the same or commit. I mean, you're introducing some variance with the perch race. Lowkey could lose this. Is Doog going the right way, though? If they're in the same stronghold, I don't know if he's going the right way to... He hears Silverfish on his subtitles. There we go. So he has to find this... has to find this portal room here.
Just digging around, trying to find the portal room. He does look like he does find it there.
Is here. Digs up above a portal frame, so it has to go around.
Nice, nice job there recovering that. But let's see if he can hit this 0. If he'll go for it.
It's 5 explosives, but he might know that he just has to try it at least.
Yep.
Because he's behind. He's
going
gonna
for it.
try it here. It's 95 standing. It's a side setup. The damage is just so awkward in this situation.
Go for it.
He has to, though.
He's committing.
And it's a good 2 beds.
Can Doog make this work? Ooh, that bed is not ideal. 2 more explosives to make this work.
Wow. He got an anchor placed off. He can't get it.
Can
Jump for the crystal.
It's
not
so
enough
low.
damage. The other crystal.
It's so
Dragon's
low.
on it. No, he misses the shot.
Going for that
the
hit.
dragon to go through it. He can't.
Is
he going to
possible?
pearl on the 3rd crystal? Watch the dragon for the death here.
I mean, it's
Any
still
cage
possible.
crystal ruins him here. And it's a cage crystal.
No.
The chase down.
He's trying to
He
make
has
this
health,
work.
but he
He's
needs
getting
to eat.
fireballed.
Oh.
This
The
is
cage
so true.
crystal
That
doing
cage is
so
just
much against him
brutal.
here.
Has to pearl down to get this cage here.
And it's
Meanwhile,
down. There's
Lowkey
more
just waiting for the
crystals.
perch. He does get that one.
No perch approach for Lowkey either. Maybe
Let's
now.
get another one. Is that
Maybe
good
the
for
perch
Lowkey,
now for
though?
Lowkey.
It's-
Maybe. It is.
I don't think. Yeah, that's a
The
perch.
dragon
Okay.
needs to be dead now for Doog, and it's just too slow. Lowkey with the 1 cycle. Looks like he's going to take C3. Wow.
Wow, that was so close. I mean, Doog just getting the dragon incredibly low. What an amazing attempt at the very least from Doog there. Going for what he needed to go for to make this happen. But Lowkey does get the consistent win with that perch. And at the end of the day, takes seed number 3.
I mean, it's insane respect and skill there for Doog sending that 0. Like I said, the side setup, the dragon rotation, like it needs to be so far away from the crystal to not break the crystal. If the crystal's broken, the dragon fireballs you, the 0 is over. So there are just some beds that you accept are going to do no damage. And if we watch that back, I know we'll watch it back on the film analysis. That 3rd bed, just physically, there's no place you can even put it to do any damage. The dragon head is just never in the right spot at the right time. But another thing, I think he air placed his 2nd anchor, and I want to see the clip when we get to the analysis after seed 4. I think he air placed his 2nd anchor, which is crazy tech. I'm excited to watch the analysis when we get there. But he's down 1-2 right now. That's the important part.
And I mean, Doog playing fairly well today. I feel like looking at these splits, I mean, you can see he saved time throughout various parts of this seed, but unfortunately, just it really was that overworld. Like, I mean, there are differences here. Like, for example, entering the fortress 10 seconds, even slower than before, right? But I feel like when I see this, you know, the main 2 things I'm looking at is 46 seconds later into the nether and 47 seconds later into the end. So overall, the big difference here was just that play that Lowkey made, that Doogile just, you know, he went with kind of the default, what everyone else I think was thinking. And that, at the end of the day, is what made this seed happen for Lowkey.
Yeah, you would think that just entering without the ruin portal loot, without the extra gold blocks, the extra food, the extra blocks in general, that Lowkey would lose time in the nether. But you look at the splits and he gained 1 second playing the nether.
Yep.
I mean, I guess he lost 5, going into the stronghold and then gained back that time on Nav a little bit. But I think a decent amount of that could be attributed to Doog making some minor mistakes here and there. He did fall off of a bridge on the way to the Bastion. Took maybe not the best terrain on the way to second portal chords, a little shaky here and there, but Lowkey, I mean, even after having to get the blocks on the way to the Bastion, having to craft golden carrots, just never punished for the play. And 46 seconds, like, even if he was punished 20, 30 seconds, it's just not a big deal in most seeds. Obviously, a cinematic end fight, right? Having to bow chase down the dragon, weird, not zeroable for Lowkey, right? Like deciding to not go for it. But on a majority of seeds that we watch, if you're in the end, 10 seconds faster, you're going to win 90% of the time. So like 45 seconds in the overworld, it's such a crazy time save. And Lowkey's just breaking the mold of what ranked players think is correct to play. Like, it's so unheard of to play that shipwreck. It's something that, you watch gold players do, you watch emerald players do. Like, the funniest thing to me is there's an analysis bot in the ranked Discord that analyzes your split times on each overworld. And if you look at like analysis of like Doogile or whatever, right? Like, he's top 1% on all 4 overworld types, and then you look at Rune Portal as the 5th one, and his Rune Portal enter type is like top 12%, because all of these players that are newer to ranked and don't really truly understand the value of food, the value of blocks, you can just enter the nether, right? Like, you don't need blocks, you don't need food. If they see the ruin portal enter, they're going to go in. So it's the level of play at the highest level, when you sort of value the blocks more, you value having better gear going into the nether, extending, taking the early time loss to get more time saved later. Lowkey's breaking that mold, intentionally entering with less gear. Yep. For a 45-second time save. And it's working. It worked yesterday. It's working today.
And
it's incredible.
I'm just thoroughly excited to get into the next seed here, Feinberg. I don't know about you. Let's see what we got up.
We can pick any 5. We're going to the village. It's Lowkey's ban. It makes sense for the pick. That.
You gotta do those little mind games. You gotta get into your enemy's head a little bit. Though I will say, I feel like maybe even more mind games is like picking the one that you ban. I feel like that might be even more. Like, if Duke picked a ruined portal here, maybe that would be even more mind games if they're really overthinking it. But at the end of the day, I feel like, honestly, I feel like the runners aren't thinking too much about this. I don't think at the end of the day they got to just play Minecraft faster than the other person. I think that's what the vast majority of their mental energy is going into, rather than maybe overthinking about which seed to pick. But we'll see.
It's a massive break point for Doog, though. A 2-2 series, much different than a 3-1 series.
Yes, absolutely.
It's almost a must-win seed for Doog. I'm ready to see the gameplay.
Let's see here. As we count down to entering this village seed, what are we going to have in store for us in this one? We'll have to find out here as
no toolsmith potential. It's a plains village. I mean, there could be a toolsmith house, but no chest in the toolsmith. I wonder why they did that. Like Mojang, making houses just not have chests for certain villages. Like Acacia Fisher doesn't have a chest, but there's a bucket in the normal houses. Plains Toolsmith doesn't have a chest, but the desert one does, and it's 2 stories. Like, zero consistency in which houses and which villages have which chests.
Maybe they gotta make the lore. The lore might be somehow explaining that, but I have no idea what I'm talking about. So we'll have to see here. But we can see 7 iron there is, or no, 8 iron. So able to get the shovel and the. Wait, hold on. Is Doog not going for?
No, it's a
golem kill.
It's 6 iron. Doog might woodlight.
Well,
Doog made pick bucket, might not kill the golem. Lowkey made pick shovel shears and is going to kill the golem for bucket FNS.
I see.
I like that play better. Maybe Doog just miscrafted. I mean, he can obviously kill the golem and make shears and get a light as well. Looking for an enter right now, though. Maybe Duke's
have-
trying to, employ Lowkey's tactics against him. Like, screw shears. I don't care about the blocks. I'm just going to enter. He's got a stack of planks just looking for an enter still. He spent so much time here jumping around. Can't find any lava anywhere. Lowkey
Man.
also
Yeah,
heading
Lowkey
into
does
this.
find it.
It was on Lowkey's screen. He saw it.
Yeah. There was a little bit of fire there in the back, and so Lowkey able to spot the lava pool right behind here, I believe.
Wow,
And
he
there
does.
is. Did he
And
turn it on hard?
Duke's heading this way here. I don't know if he turned it on hard. This is terrible for Duke, though. He needs almost an insta woodlight to even be somewhat close to the speed that Lowkey's at right now.
Right.
And that's not a good start for the woodlight at all. He's going to build it in a different spot.
And just brutal stuff there. I mean, I think I understand the play of skipping the golem, but Lowkey, once again, just finding the lava pool so much faster, saving so much time. And meanwhile, Lowkey now, already navving to the bastion. Here we go. We see Doog just waiting for his portal to light. Hopefully this won't take him too long.
It's just off of the woodlight, or just off the lava pool find, I should say. Like, Doog out of the village so fast, but opting for the Hyrule woodlight play. Couldn't find the lava pool, and he's getting just even more and more punished. There's the fire. Is it going to spread?
And oh no! But Lowkey's dead! Wow! And just tried to force that bastion looting a little bit too aggressively, and all of a sudden, Doog is now potentially, far ahead. But I'm just thinking, like,
I mean, I don't know how easy it is for Lowkey to grab his stuff back.
There we go.
Duke doesn't know that he's ahead right now, obviously. Yeah. I mean, is he even ahead right now? I think he'll get to the bastion first.
No,
Lowkey needs to do a pretty good amount. I think the bastion was close, though. I don't think this death is going to be as bad for Lowkey as it seems. He's got shears, right? Obviously, from the way he played this overworld, he can get a lot more blocks. But it's a death from Lowkey in playoffs. That's a sentence you're not going to hear often.
Yeah, and that is rare. I mean, that is the first probably very large mistake we've seen from Lowkey this entire playoffs. Let's see how he recovers here as he's now running right back towards his stuff. But Doog is now, looting the bastion. He's got that lead. We'll have to see how punishing this was. I think it could be awkward if there's a lot of piglins around his stuff. We'll have to see here.
Duke doesn't know about his lead yet. He will soon, as Lowkey, doesn't get the advancements you'd expect in the fort. Like, doesn't get obsidian, doesn't get crying, doesn't get war pigs. I don't know exactly what he got before he died, but he's heading back. And you're very right, Nerdy. Can he grab his stuff? He doesn't even have a pickaxe here. He can't even get in this boat. Can't even crouch to get in the boats. It's placeable, but not enterable. And the boat's now useless. He finds one block.
Man, just super awkward here for Lowkey. But
how does he save his stuff? There's pants in the chest.
That's huge. A huge
so no
find
aggro.
for Lowkey.
Yeah, he'll be able to grab all his stuff back. Is there some off the bastion, though? He's got his pickaxe. I think that's the most important thing here. Maybe the food, as well. 20 bread has it.
Does have the food. Has the
but now,
the wood
just look at the pace. Doog now so ahead.
There's a skeleton behind him. It looks like Lowkey, just so far behind. But I will say, I feel like that was a fairly solid recovery from Lowkey. That could have been a disaster. Had he taken more damage from those piglins, maybe taken another death or something like that. But was able to navigate around and, make this a close seed, at least to some extent. But nonetheless, that death was definitely the biggest mistake we've seen from Lowkey. And taking a lot of damage here again, but I think he is safe.
It's okay. 20 bread, right? As long as you don't die.
Yep.
He already did once, but that bread's going to be able to heal you up. The bastion rat's going to take a while, so should be at 10 hearts by the time he leaves the bastion. But he's going to be leaving a lot later than Duke. Duke's got 20 obsidian, 22 pearls. We have no string. We have no string.
Oh, wow. And that's just going to give maybe Lowkey
Duke knows one shot. I can't imagine he'll go for it.
That would be awesome, to be fair, if he went for it.
But he knows one shot. There's 10 string. We have 0. We have 1 explosive. Excuse me. And notably, Nerdy, we have no explosives from the village. Lowkey has 1 bed. That could be a huge difference maker in this seed. Duke grabbing no beds from the village chests.
And
what is Duke doing? Oh my god, he's letting his pigs up. He's letting his pigs up to maybe go to the other gap. He's maybe playing the first ever left to right good gap we've ever seen in playoffs.
Wow.
And he is
trying to really force this these explosives.
And what is Lowkey doing? A crazy pearl hang he sent here.
I guess just like really waiting on all these explosives. Only has one bed. I mean, this is just brutal stuff here. But
the double gap stables route, I think it's the first time we've ever seen it in a grand finals, no less. And we'll see how much this one bed matters. I think Doog is saved because there's not like 3 explosives or 2 explosives, right? Like 3 explosives entering. Obviously, you could just full bow, right? It's very, very slow compared to just a 1 cycle, but you could just full bow and take a couple cycles. You could also destroy 9 crystals and then play for a 3-bed axe, destroy the 10th crystal as the dragon's perching. That's not that slow with 3 explosives. Obviously, much worse than a 0 cycle. Much worse than just a normal 4-bed, right? On a half bow. But it's not too bad. I think Doog's got the explosives, though. How's Lowkey going to handle this situation?
Oh, man. Lowkey just...
Yeah, Doog's got 5 explosives, maybe even 6, depending on how much Crying Obsidian he has. I'm not sure.
Oh, man. Doogile just slowly...
Where is Lowkey going? He's going to this single chest. He gets some string here. That's 5 arrows only, and he's gone. I don't know the explosive situation for Lowkey. I'm worried about it.
16 string, 1 bed, 35 Crying Obby. Not great.
Lowkey's taking better terrain. He leaves the Bastion second. He's at the forward first. There's so much to watch on this seed. I don't even know what's happening.
1.5 hearts here for
Duke. And they're building up the spawner the same. It's the same time. They're here at the same exact time doing the same thing now.
Wow.
But it's the gear difference that could matter.
Yeah, I don't think that Lowkey can really reliably zero here.
I mean, can Doog even zero? Can Doog even blaze bed? We have 2 beds, 4 anchors. 1 bed, 4 anchor is so much more awkward. He's just going to mine out the spawner here. What is Lowkey's explosive situation? Please open your inventory.
It looks like
1
35.
Bed.
Okay.
Wow, 2 beds, 1 anchor. That's it. And he has 5 arrows, Nerdy. So he can't even break all 10 crystals reliably unless... No, I was going to say, you can craft spectral arrows. He could get 10 arrows exactly and not miss a single shot, but he doesn't have the glowstone to craft spectral arrows. Maybe glowstone on the ceiling over there, he might punch for extra explosives. There's always the library for string as well.
He could also maybe find sheep on the way out for when he blinds here, but that's super unreliable as, you know, if you get an ocean, you
Is he
just
going
can't do that
for
at all.
1 shot? I mean, if he's going for 1 shot, I would think he'd blaze bed here. No sheep, ocean, like you said.
Yep.
Nothing. So it's library or bust for Lowkey.
Or, I guess 1 shot if he really wants to go for that, but...
I don't know.
I
don't know if Lowkey knows 1 shot. I've seen Doog 1 shot before. I haven't watched enough Lowkey to fully know if there's 1 shot potential in this man's veins.
They are really close. I mean, if you just are talking pace-wise, ignoring the explosive count there, but... I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not impossible to do like a...
Oh my god, I'm getting... Okay. I don't know which seeds have 1 shot and which seeds don't. Like, I'm sorry. I'll get flamed. It's actually valid flame, though. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine.
It's okay, Farmbird. We forgive you.
No, I just don't know which seeds do it now or not. And there's like... Dude, I'm sorry. It's an under lava portal, though. Back to the actual game. I'll stop tilting out here. Because there's lava here.
And you know, both runners just on very similar paces.
I just wonder, like, is it the library?
I think it's probably the library play. That seems to me like the most likely option here for Lowkey.
I mean, okay, 1 shot versus perch difference, there is like none. If you hit the 1 shot, I guess ranked is RTA only, right? So when you're doing the pause buffering, but Doog is just gonna go for it. No, he has 5 explosives, I think.
Yeah, I guess that is just what he's gonna go for.
I thought he was gonna have 6, but only 3 anchors. 2 bed, 3 anchor. This is hittable. He's got a spare bow to do a chase down if he needs to. Maybe he even has 3 beds. I think only 2 though.
Solid first
only 2
bed there. Yeah, these are looking pretty solid so far, but
it's good. It's gonna be close on this 5th anchor. Wow, an amazing 4th anchor. That's gonna do it for sure. Not dying, so no chance to even witness a 1 shot. It's just, I mean, Doog played double gap. We've never seen it before. We might never see it again. He plays 2 gaps to get the explosives he needs, and it pays off. And
there
Nerdy,
we have it.
another 11-minute masterclass. And I mean, you compare these times to the other times earlier today, the other times throughout the bracket. How are these runners getting 11-minute times? It doesn't show nearly the full story in these seeds. Some of the closest 11-minute games we've probably ever seen.
Absolutely. I mean, look at the back and forth here. Look at the, storyline of Lowkey dying, but still entering the end very shortly after. And I mean, just very well played from both runners. And we have a 2-2 Feinberg. I mean, that is as good as it could possibly be for the end of a game 4.
It's the setup for game 7. It's as close as it possibly can be after 4 seeds. And even with an 11-minute time, I mean, just the storylines, the splits, Lowkey taking a death, losing all of his time from that nether enter, the lava pool play, doesn't have to woodlight, finds it right away.
Right.
It's a 757 fort enter. That might be the slowest fort enter this entire playoffs.
Wow. Yeah.
Like over every
seed.
seed. Like we've seen slower seeds to some nav, we've seen slower seeds to some 0. But I mean, the end game in this seed pretty fast, right? 8-minute fort, 11-minute finish. Basically 3.5 minutes from fort to finish, but an 8-minute fort. Potentially the slowest we've seen. I mean, a double gap stables. I've never seen that before in my life. And
maybe a small crack showing through Lowkey in that first death today. I mean, that is going to be very interesting to think about. I mean, well, hopefully that won't, ruin his momentum. But I will say with Doog also making a few mistakes here and there, right? We've seen, in the previous seed, Lowkey having the better enter into, from the shipwreck, right? That was a very surprising play, and it worked out for Lowkey. And once again, during this overworld, we see his decision-making just saving him several seconds, even a minute, I think. And so at the end of the day, I feel like despite those mistakes that Lowkey made, this seed was very, very close. He was able to go around that death and make it work.
100%. Let's see what Fulham has to say on that matter. See the clips he can analyze. Oh, he's not ready.
That's A-okay.
Not my fault. Maybe he's ready now. There's an R, and then I was in my head leading into the segment, and then not R all caps, not R all caps. So we'll do a little bit of waiting around before Fulham's ready. I mean, there's a lot to analyze in those 2 seats compared to the first 2, right? Like the first ever death we've seen from Lowkey in playoffs, the insane 0 attempt from Doog in seed 3. And it looks like we're ready now, so we're going to throw it into Fulham and be back here for seed 5 after he's done.
Okay, my fault. My fault. Really bad timing on the arrival of my dinner because it's like 9 p.m. in the UK now. Just literally awful timing. I type R, food comes. Awful timing. I'm sorry, not Feinberg's fault. Blame it on me. We're back. It's seed 4 and it's 2 apiece. This is the perfect setup for a seed 7. I hope it happens. I'm hoping. And let me send you guys back to seed 3. And that feels like a long time ago because it kind of is both RTA and IGT when that actually did happen. But let's take you back to the shipwreck seed where Lowkey decided to make the play to not go back to the island. Now, in my opinion, I just thought this was because he's at the bottom of the shipwreck, already taking drowning damage. Whereas for Doogile was almost at the surface when he took his first tick of drowning damage after looting all the chests. So in my opinion, I thought Lowkey may just grab these 2 logs, regen up his water bubble bar, I don't know, his breath, I guess, and then maybe head back to the island with the shears. But no, he decided to stay on the shipwreck for the entire time, make tools, and then grab wood just here. It's a really, really good play. I still think that it's actually an optimal play in certain situations. And this is actually proof that in this situation, even though the Bastion wasn't particularly close, it still worked out. He actually was forced to grab logs on the way, extra logs, 10 logs, but still made it to the bridge substantially ahead of Doogile. However, Doogile was able to clutch back a lot of that time within the seed due to better food management after having some of the golden carrots from a ruined portal that was nearby. And then he went for this. going for a low side setup with low explosives. And it's not the first time, it wasn't the last time we will see Doogile go for this kind of zero cycle on low explosives. That third bed, Feinberg did mention it just after the seed. Unfortunately, because of the rotation of the dragon, let's just exactly show. I think that it only takes out about this much health. It's a small amount, but because of the dragon's proximity, the head hitbox is not close to that pillow of the bed, just because of how the dragon's rotating. But let's focus right now on this. Let's focus. The anchor is going to be exploded here. It's been charged, and Doogile explodes the anchor. But notice where the next anchor is placed. It is placed in the exact same location. You can't really see it through the explosion, but you can just about see it here. The anchor is placed in the exact same location as the final explosion was done. The anchor was air placed. Now, I know that Feinberg did mention that, but this is a strategy that I only heard of 2 or 3 days ago. And that is literally by clicking at a certain speed. If you can click fast enough, you can place a block in the same spot on air. There is no block that this was placed against. There was no hitbox to click onto, and there would have been no place to put this anchor down for Doogile had he have not air placed this. It was a really awesome play, and I think you might have to like drag click or do something fancy that I actually don't know. But to be able to place this anchor on the air, going for a 5 explosive 0 cycle side setup when already behind, you just have to give a massive amount of respect to. Unfortunately, this anchor was not able to take out around about a quarter of the dragon's health, leaving the dragon on about an 1/8 of its health left, trying to chase down the dragon, and one important thing was this arrow that missed. Had he have hit this shot, unfortunately, he got fireballed right here, and worrying about standing in the dragon's breath, he had to jump at the final second, which misplaced his arrow, shooting it just short of the crystal, as you can see in this screenshot, or this frame right here. You can see the hitbox not quite interacting with the crystal. Had this have blown up at the correct time, the dragon would have been dealt damage, and given that it went on this rotation arc, avoided this cage crystal, and avoided the crystal that is on Doogile's left here that was also caged. And maybe the dragon would have been able to die. I think that unfortunately allowed the dragon to be able to regen a few extra hearts. And look, as it approaches him, is able to regen from this cage crystal. A beautiful pearl, but not able to chase it down. And Lowkey eventually does get that perch that was ever elusive throughout the rest of this seed, allowing Lowkey to take the third seed, going up 2-1. But in the early part of this seed, even though Lowkey was substantially ahead, during the time that I was getting the clip of the lack of woodlight for Doogile, Lowkey actually takes a death right here, getting 3 hit just on the corner of this stair block here, unable to path around all of these piglins coming at him, and taking a lot of damage in quick succession. As you can hear, the 3 ticks of damage coming in, going to kill Lowkey swiftly. All the meanwhile, Doogile, after making a really heads-up play of going for the overworld, the golem skip, not killing the golem, not going for blazes, Sorry, my head's all over the place because the clips are in the wrong direction. Here we go. Not going for the golem kill, and instead, rather than going for a flint and steel, going for a woodlight. But unfortunately, this caused Doogile to have a lot of problems because the lava pool was not easy to spot, looking in all directions, heading up this hill and pillaring upwards to try and get a better vantage point to locate exactly where the fire may be spreading, where this lava pool is spinning around, whereas Lowkey directly goes towards the situation. And even though Doogile quote-unquote left the village substantially earlier than Lowkey, did not actually enter the nether remotely close to Lowkey, probably around about 30 seconds behind. But after a death from Lowkey, it really did tie up the game. But then as the runners did pick up, we had our first gap-to-gap play for luring all of the pigs from this left side good gap down the stairs to the right side good gap. Punching the piglins on the way in the middle specifically to lure any extras from the upper rampart, and punching one more time to lure any from the top of this good gap here. An absolute huge amount of piglins, but bear in mind, Doogile, by the time he entered the fortress, only had a measly 6 explosives. Now, this is 6 explosives from 2 gaps. He had 3 from the first gaps because this is exactly how many Lowkey had when entering the end. Sorry, in fact, he did have 4 from the first gap, of course, because Lowkey, I believe... Oh, no, Lowkey didn't blaze bed. It is 3 apiece. 3 from the first gap because that's how many Lowkey had after going for the... After entering the end. And then maybe, in fact, it was only 5 by the end because Doogile didn't blaze bed. This is something that we've not seen in any other match, really, this entire playoffs. Neither runner going for the blaze bed and Doogile entering the end here with an insanely low amount of explosives. And we've seen it before. We saw it in the in just the seed prior. 5 explosives going for a 0 cycle. But in this one, it is a front dragon, a much more easy tower, and no side setup, no weird offset, a comfortable location. The head hitbox is going to be right above all of these anchors, and this anchor in particular, an insane amount of damage, allowing Doogile to comfortably 5-bed this dragon. And I've been yapping for a long time. I don't want to ice these runners anymore, so I'm going to send you guys back. Seed number 5 on its way, and if we do get to a seed 7, I will see you back. But if not, a massive thank you to everyone for all the support throughout this playoffs season so far, and this just amazing work from everyone behind the scenes, everyone front facing as well. Thank you for all of the commentators, all the editors, all of the ranked players themselves, and everyone in chat. Big thank you to all of you. Hopefully I'll be back, but if not, a massive thank you to everyone. I'm going to send you guys back to our commentators in the booth right now.
I mean, Fulham's going to be back. What can I say? It's going to go to a game 7. Let's just see the seed we have to play to get there. That's all I have to say. I want to see the gameplay. I want to see the gameplay.
Too. A shipwreck pick. Hey,
back to the shipwreck. I mean, if you look at the shipwreck, Lowkey saved 45 seconds in the overworld. You know that's been on their mind, right? You know we're getting into the seed. Lowkey may be so confident in his decision-making. Doog might be shook, right?
And also keep this in mind that yesterday also, with those decisions that he made to not craft the shears and go for the iron axe. I mean, there's been I'm pretty sure that was shipwreck, unless maybe that was a buried treasure. But in either case, he's very confident with his abilities to route these types of island overworlds, and I think it's absolutely the correct pick, in my opinion, to pick the shipwreck here and just maybe make your opponent a little bit uneasy with how much faster you entered the Nether on the previous shipwreck seed.
Yeah, I think it's just the seed picks are so mental, right? I mean, a lot of the times in this match, it's been so weird. There's been so much variance. So maybe it's not. Maybe Lowkey is trying to introduce that variance, is trying to make Doog, maybe think. And even if they end up making the same play, if Doog's hesitating with his thoughts, hesitating with his crafting, that's some time that Lowkey can save, and then you snowball that through the rest of the seed.
And here we are entering the match. These two over 2,400 ELO players, absolute juggernauts of ranked, now are facing off in the 5th seed of today. Feinberg, are we going to see a game 7?
Of course. I said it earlier, so I'll say it again. These players so evenly matched. And if you're Doog, you might be happy here. We have 13 iron. So nice. Shears and full tools are on the table. No weird decisions, but look at this, Nerdy. The 4 sand play, 5 gunpowder. It's the TNT.
I love it. I love seeing it. Crafting that TNT is very nice. Able to get tons of blocks and all that good stuff. Like you said, we should see very similar decisions from these runners as to what to craft. But I will say, no, take a look at this though. To be fair, I mean, Doogile going with the iron pressure plate, maybe not going with the iron axe.
No, he still has enough. It's okay. Counting's hard.
Oh, no
There's 11
shears.
after.
No shears. That's what I was
Well, yeah,
thinking.
because
That's
you
what I
have the
was thinking.
TNT from
Right.
the
No,
from
that
the
makes
blocks.
sense. Yeah, sure.
That's okay.
That's what I was miscalculating. I see. But very nice stuff, and now we have a very strong start. I think it looks like Doogile spots some kelp in the background here, and
He
I
does.
think
Lowkey
Lowkey's
spots some
going
cup
to a
on the
different
right,
one.
which is interesting. Doogzervine looks very real here. Is Lowkey's going to be real, or is this shipwreck pick going to backfire? It's fake. He has to curve left. And he'll find this other kelp, but this is a lot of time loss. If Doog can hit this 2x1, we've seen some portal mishaps earlier.
Right.
But it's clean.
And there's the Flint, and he's in. You know, a sub-2 enter, very solid here from this runner as he immediately spots the, I believe that's
such a weird spawn. You know, a lava floating. I mean, this is a seed where you need the block, so the no shears play could have hurt Lowkey here, but not a shipwreck seed where we need that decision. And you don't want to fall in this lava if you're Lowkey right now. Speed bridging in ranked, you know, it's something that runners nowadays barely fall at, but it's in the back of your head as you're doing the build. Sure. Like, if you slip, it's over, and you can psych yourself out of it. Look at this different stone routing. Yeah.
The six obby at least for for Lowkey there. Meanwhile, Doog does not have any going top down.
Yeah. Wow, there's like 20 in that triple. Doog, or the double, I should say. Doog's gonna be saved. But look at this speed. I mean, Lowkey pretty behind entering the nether, and he's made up most of the time back by not having to go to the top of the bastion.
And mining out these extra gold blocks in order for the standard housing route here as Lowkey begins the trading with the piglins around the same time. I mean, these runners are, you know, pretty close to one another, despite taking slightly different routes, despite having slightly different enters. I do feel like Lowkey's route here is maybe a little bit faster overall, at least in this circumstance, you know, especially having gotten
playing the manhunt, not having to build up, works out because he got the obsidian from those bottom chests. Doesn't actually need to check the top chest for anything.
Right.
Duke trying to pie right here, knows it has to either be left or right, and he's going to have this obsidian gift here, 26. So he's not punished for the manhunt chest either.
And there's 39 obsidian for Lowkey. Wow. Maybe you want to just, you know, do an extra portal just to be safe or something like that. Maybe you could build 3x3 portals. You know, that might be the
so many trades. Duke is out. Is Lowkey pie to be out as well?
And yeah, it looks like Doog is ready to go as he's taken off.
Yeah, Lowkey's leaving too. Doog just a little bit faster. I mean, this could be the time save he had from the nether enter just showing here. That's pretty open terrain. Doog just trying to look for the spawner here. Throws a far pearl to the back end of the fort. I mean, this spawner nav could be big, right? Yeah, it doesn't matter if you hit the fort first. You have to find the spawner first. Is it up here for Lowkey? No, Duke finds one.
Looks like Doogile finds it. At least he finds one of them. And Lowkey is just, you know, trailing a little bit behind again. Taking slightly different terrain
heard the second one. Different spawner. A little bit worse for Lowkey, though. This terrain spawners can sometimes eat spawns at the edge of the spawn radius due to that netherrack. There's just more fire on the walls as well. Doog, very open. Just has to deal with a couple tree leaves, or whatever you want to call them, in the nether.
Sure.
Could be big variance, potentially, if Lowkey loses a blaze or two on these spawn cycles.
And Doogile just, you know, placing the soul sand here. I do find it nice. I mean, obviously it is better to have an open spawner, but man, I do like just not having to place the soul sand. I always find that
not having to deal with, you know, the
really
blazes
awkward,
flying around.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's a skill issue. I'll be honest. It's always been awkward to me. But
look at this. Duke's on 6. I think Lowkey's going to be on 6 with this route as well, so he's not punished. Duke was actually one blaze ahead on the cycles, but he doesn't need that blaze. So no punish for different spawners, but again, could be different strongholds, different terrain. I like Duke's position a little more simply because it's open, so he can start leaving to cords faster.
And
Oh, he's
Looks
got to
like
throw 2 though.
1700 distance, I believe, for
Yeah, he has to throw
Lowkey,
2,
and
and
is
I
that-
think it's probably this 1200. But throwing 2 here is not good, especially because he doesn't have that 7th rod.
Oh, doesn't get
So it's
punished.
just a little bit more time picking it up. Is Lowkey pre-crafted here? Dude, spending a lot of
Lowkey's
time
ready to go.
crafting. I don't know if Lowkey's pre-crafted at his spawner or not. But he is. You're right, Nerdy. He's ready to go.
As he's now digging into the wall and just trying to place this obsidian soon. I mean, this is looking, suddenly I feel like this has shifted in Lowkey's favor.
Yeah, but I mean, he dug down here with Duke in the same exact spot digging here. It's just the time that Lowkey potentially needs to take to craft his explosives. Duke did that in the overworld. That could be the difference.
Right? We'll have to see. He does seem to
No,
like
it
the
looked like
spike
things
here.
were crafted for Lowkey. He had an overlap that Duke
Wow.
didn't. And that's the
And there
portal
we
room.
go. Insta finds the portal room, and now he's in. I mean, this could just be game over if he hits this 0. A lot on the line here, trying to make this match point for Lowkey. Let's see if he can hit this 0 as he pearls up to the front tower.
This 94 should be textbook for these runners. 99, you've probably practiced this 1,000 times if you're in their shoes. And so many explosives. Doesn't have to be pressured by any weird double beds, any weird extensions. Duke just now enter the end. So he's taking
And
it
some
very slow here.
Solid first beds. Gets the double
Nice
bed in there.
4 cycle.
Gets another double bed, and that will take our seed 5 in Lowkey's favor. Now up 3-2. Match point for Lowkey. Can Duke run this back, Feinberg? I don't know. I mean, he's going to have to win 2 in a row against someone who, before this game, has not lost a single seed. So that is tough. That is very, very tough. But at the same time, we have seen Lowkey take a death this series, so, definitely is possible for anything to happen.
Yeah, Duke's dragon's dead as well. Only lost one of these 3 seeds to not killing the dragon. It was off that incredibly scuffed 0. And a very stark difference from the 11-minute runs of seed 3 and 4. Seed 5, a mid 7-minute run. Back to normal.
Yeah, lots of, look at that. 14 seconds faster entering the nether, 17 seconds slower entering the end. So just losing a lot of time. Mainly, it looks like in that fortress to stronghold split, I guess. And, at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Yeah, at 22 seconds. And I even thought Duke found the spawner first. I think it was just a lack of overlap on the crafts. I mean, obviously, he had to throw a second eye, but maybe just a little bit of unsureness on the terrain decisions as well. It's a little unclear to me how there's 22 seconds of difference there. Not sure how much time exactly he spent on the pre-crafting, exactly how much time he spent on the eyes. But I mean, looking just at the spawners, right? They both blinded at the same time with 6 rods, so it's 20 seconds on just the measuring and the terrain.
Yeah.
Can narrow down the time loss even a little more there.
Goes to show that Lowkey will punish really any mistakes that you make, right? Like, he will not let any mistakes slide in these types of situations. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, this match just is neck and neck throughout, not only in the individual seeds, but the overall score here is we have a 3-2 lead to Lowkey with potentially 2 seeds to go if Doogile wins this buried treasure seed.
Yeah, and we're going back to the ocean now for a 4th time. Maximum ocean experience.
And yeah, I guess that makes sense, right? You win the first seed very convincingly on that buried treasure seed. I think it's just what he's comfortable with. It makes sense to me. I don't know about you, Feinberg. I'm ready to see this game 6.
Yeah, I mean, he won the BT seed, right? Like, he won the village seed. I guess could have picked that as well. It was Lowkey's ban that he did win, but I mean, granted, that village seed he mainly only won due to Lowkey dying. Was in the nether a full minute slower with worse gear. So we're at the BT for seed 6. I want to see a seed 7. I'm rooting for Duke here. Potentially the last seed of the season 6 playoffs, though.
It
We
is
just gotta
absolutely
get into the
unfortunately a
gameplay.
possibility. Yeah, I mean, I feel like let's see what happens. I don't know. Lowkey, both players playing very well today overall, I'd say. I mean, it's not, there's been very, very few mistakes, and I feel like it's one of those things though where we see one big mistake happen, that's the end of the seed. We see that Lowkey death, we see those differences in the overworlds, and that's the end of it. But
Both runners
regardless,
found
here
the
we
chunk
are.
here.
You know, very similar paces.
This
one
is
of those
really
awkward ones.
annoying. It's a 4 sand dig, and it's not going to fall either. So are we going to tank some drowning damage? Are we going to go up at all? What's going to happen here? Very awkward situation.
It's like both runners choosing to tank a little bit of damage there.
Yeah, and this is the
Duke taking
speed
less,
of
though.
Duke took less, but Lowkey also it was maybe missed. I was gonna mention it earlier. Lowkey jumped off of the side of the island, took like 2 hearts of fall damage, so he looked like he was on full health and hunger, but he had no saturation. So I think maybe took an extra heart or 2 of suffocation damage there, but also lower because of the fall damage at the start of the seed as well. And there's a Shears play and a Gold Axe play. Lowkey standard play this time. You know, I think it's because the Gold Axe, right? Stone Axe, there's a lot more investment into it. It's a lot slower. Gold Axe is just faster mining blocks.
Yep.
And Shears also get you more blocks. So this makes sense. And we're off.
Both runners choosing the same decision finally on one of these ocean seeds as.
But not for the ravine direction. Dude, this isn't the ravine here.
Yeah, and it looks like Lowkey, at least I saw some kelp. I don't know about you. Is this the ravine?
That's not the ravine. Is it the one over here on the right? Though it is, and Duke's heading this way, but he's behind now. This is a solid maybe 7-8 seconds. It's the ravine to the right here. But he sent a ravine behind that looked good at first glance, but wasn't. Maybe Lowkey just committed to this kelp right away. A little bit of a fumble on this 2x1 though. Duke could catch up sometime here.
I mean,
is this 2 deep? Lowkey's was 1 deep.
Look at that.
Oh yeah, he does. Wow, so Duke ahead now.
And
Lowkey cobbles as well. This is a very annoying. He's got to get a side. Yeah, a very, very annoying finish here. Or recovery. I don't really know how to explain it. We're on the treasure for Doogile. We're already in the bastion.
Yeah, and Doogile is not letting those mistakes slide despite finding that ravine way slower now into the bastion, significantly ahead of Lowkey here as he begins the standard treasure route. And yeah, I mean, Doogile just not making the same mistakes, even though maybe being a little unlucky, you could say, with finding the ravine.
Yeah.
The first few gold blocks here from the treasure. And
apparently
really
people in chat, Duke lost a gold block, maybe even lost 2 gold blocks, what people saying in chat. That could be big.
I didn't see that at all.
Mustard also said Lowkey lost his crafting table too, potentially. A lot going on in this seed that we just can't feasibly possibly pick up here.
Yeah, I think
Lowkey's got enough wood for the crafting table. I'd say losing 1, maybe 2 gold blocks is a lot bigger of a deal potentially.
That could be a big problem.
Chat's maybe decided on he just lost 1 gold block, but that's more than 0. And I mean, the piglins will hold on to that, assuming they picked it up, but you have to kill the pig to get it back. And then you can't trade anymore. So that gold block is as good as gone.
And
imagine you could give them a gold block though, and then it would take them like a minute and they would like vomit a 9 trades at a time. It'd be like a mega trade.
Or what if instead of a mega trade, it was a mega trade, but only for 1 item? So you
just say you give them a gold block and they give you like 3 stacks of pearls. Bang.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
that would be awesome.
Dang.
That would be awesome. I would so be down for that.
That's the high roll. That's what you do that's the classic meta. You give the pigs a gold block. If you don't get 40 pearls, GG.
That would be fantastic.
You get like 3 stacks of leather. Anyways, treasure. Sorry.
Oh man. Regardless, here we have 2 stacks of string, so explosives should not be an issue this seed.
And we're heading to lower treasure for Doog. Playoff life on the line. He's down 1 seed and he's gonna break the spawner. There's 2 chests down here. Are we gonna check for looting? No. Is Lowkey gonna break the spawner?
No.
Is he gonna get a pearling off? Is he gonna look? He might just be able to spot it. I don't think so. Pearling down here on the side.
Gonna do it.
Still looking.
And Duke has the info.
And Duke is heading a different way here, it seems.
Oh, wow.
The bit rate is so weird, but he sees the fort. It's a different way. Lowkey doesn't. Yeah. This is time loss. And more importantly, it's a massive food loss here. The pearls that Lowkey's invested, he has 1 salmon left. Yep. He can barely get to the fort.
I do think he knows where to go now. I think he realized by checking that direction that, it's not that way. It was
that is how it goes. There's a bridge in the background.
He's just on to the spawner. He's ahead once again.
He's just here faster. Yeah, I don't know how that's possible.
I guess just using the info that, it's not this way.
Well, just
so
like
it's going to be that
pearls,
way.
I guess. But Duke saw the fort maybe 20, 30 seconds even faster. But look at Lowkey. Lowkey's committing so hard to save this lava here. This is such a commitment. He's not blaze betting at all. Doog just doesn't care at all. Lowkey is putting so much time into saving this lava, so much health. Now he's down to 3.5. He still hasn't gotten burned on the blaze bed spawn, and now he does the one spawn off the blaze. What's Doog gonna get here? Doog, 3, maybe even 4. 4 blazes on the second spawn. That's a 3 blaze desync right now. Wow.
I mean, it's just, yeah, I'm not sure about that decision from Lowkey, but hey, I mean, no, look at this. It looks like the lava's
It doesn't work. The blaze bed broke the
disaster. This is gonna make it even worse.
It's a complete disaster from Lowkey. A complete disaster on the spawner.
And that's just gonna block so many spawns. And Lowkey just knows he can't really do anything. It's just gonna be even more time loss. He might go back and try and salvage that, but that is just looking like a nightmare situation. He turned a little bit of lava into a whole waterfall, or lava fall, I guess. And
he blocks it off with the soul sand, right? Like, I mean, I think regardless of whatever block you block it off with there's no blocks to sort of get in the way, right? So I think even if he blocked it off with nether brick, it might have still exploded there. But
he needs 2 more rods, though, I will say. But, you know, Doogile here is just handling this spawner much better overall.
Yeah, Doog only needs 1 more.
Or on 10.
He's got way better food as well. Lowkey might have to hunger reset in the overworld, but he gets the 2 rods. Doog's gonna be out on this cycle though, so he's ahead. But is it by that much?
Let's see what Doog can do here. Trying to craft some stuff while he's purling. Very nice overlap there.
90 blocks away seems on the Nimbot. I think 1 more pearl. There's some hoglins on this terrain. He's only on 4.5 hearts. Doesn't even have any gold armor. There's a piglin as well, but they're both zombie piglins. And he's going to kill the hoglin for food. Dodge the hunger reset in the portal room. Lowkey, anchor half a heart hunger reset here in the nether.
Only 2 pork chops. A little bit unfortunate, but regardless, that should be enough for the rest of the seed. As he now builds his portal into the stronghold here. Meanwhile, Lowkey purling towards the stronghold. So, significant lead here for Doog. Can he close out the seed? We will have to find out.
Where's the spike, though? Where's the spike? There's no spike.
Gonna have to potentially go into another
Trying
chunk
to play for chunk culling potentially. He's going farther into the stronghold. Gets the spike finally. That's a pure spike down here. Sees the light source as well. Has a pork chop. Doesn't need a hunger reset. Can do the eating tech. The jump. The eat. Gets it. Lowkey just now eye spying. If Doog misses the 0, the door's still open for Lowkey, but he's got food, beds, blocks, everything.
It's a front 0.
Look at this.
Very weird looking end.
How low is the tower? How low is the center?
What is happening here? I don't even know. Can Doog make this a 3-3? We'll have to see.
He does. He's there.
That first
he's got a bow as well.
solid.
So comfortable with these beds.
Can he get off?
The dragon seems low though. The dragon seems low. Oh my god, he gets it off.
Fantastic stuff from Doogile. Closing out the seed.
This must be like a Y40 bedrock. Like, look at this. The dragon's like going through endstone while it's dying here.
I mean, I don't even know. I mean, I'd be kind of worried about purling off the end. You know what I mean? Like maybe there's like a little bit of terrain that opens up and just into the void. I'd be slightly scared, but it looks like Doogile is not scared as he finishes off the seed.
And we get a game 7.
That's what I'm talking about.
We get a game 7. These runners before Nerdy, they've met just once in playoffs. Season 2, a year ago at this point. In the round of 8, the quarterfinals, Lowkey beat Doog 3-2 in the best of 5. Lowkey was up 3-2 in this best of 7, and Doogle's tied it back up at 3-3. We've never seen a game 7 between these 2 individuals before. Our 2 most decorated playoff players of all time. And we have 1 seed left for the gold, for the trophy, for $3,000.
Who's your money on?
I mean, Doog has the momentum. He saved time on this nether. There's been a lot of small mistakes. I think it just has to be nerves at this point. You know, they know they're playing against the best, right? Like there's even a difference. I feel like Lowkey playing against Hacks versus playing against Doog. Just the fact that Doog's won a playoffs before, he's been in this situation. There's just that slight, you know, boost maybe, and then it messes with your nerves so much more, right? Like Doog versus Manji, similar situation. Manji never even been to a playoffs finals before, and now you're playing Lowkey, who's won 2 playoffs and could have potentially even won last season as well. he just declined to play, right? Like Lowkey could have won 3 of the last
Absolutely.
4 if he played last season. Doog, the pressure of winning 2 in a row. Lowkey, the pressure of being the first hat trick playoff winner. The nerves must be at an all-time high, and we're seeing it in the gameplay, right? Lowkey's mess at the lava spawner, dying in the bastion, Doog missing enters twice, 3 times. It feels like he's missing so many magma ravines, so many lava pools, you know, things you just wouldn't see him make earlier today, wouldn't see mistakes he'd make yesterday.
And it literally all comes down to this next seed. I mean, at the end of the day, there's no more seeds after this. No matter
That's all we
what,
got.
this is the last seed.
It's
So
all
I
we
could
got.
not be more excited. I mean, this is, like we said, Battle of the Titans, absolute juggernauts of Minecraft speedrun players. And, you know, at the end of the day, this is what we came for. This seed here. Stay tuned, chat. You know, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah, we are getting into the full analysis segment in just a second. Once he gives us the go-ahead from the clips there. Definitely a lot to analyze in those last 2 seeds. So whenever he's ready, I just want to get into the gameplay. I can't even think of any like yapping. I can't think of any stalling.
So eager. I mean, I feel like,
and he's ready.
Oh,
Let's go. I just want to see the
Let's
gameplay.
go.
Let's go to the analysis segment and let's get back into the gameplay. Let's see it with Fulham.
Okay. I think we're live. I think we've transitioned. Amazing. I've sprinted and I've tried my absolute utmost to dress for the occasion. It is Seed 7, Lowkey versus Doogile. It would be unfair to these runners and to the ranked playoffs as a whole to simply not turn up in at least some sort of formal attire for this amazing spectacle that we're watching right now. It is Seed 7 in the playoff finals, and it's Lowkey versus Doogile, our number 1 and number 2 seed, pushing each other to their absolute limits. And let's talk about Seed 5. In Seed 5, the main thing that I could speak about was this slight ravine misplay in the overworld. There was very little to analyze. Lowkey was able to claw back the time loss after heading to the incorrect kelp in the ocean throughout the amazing play through the rest of the seed. Even though there was a few small errors for Doogile, there would be no point in me clipping them all, simply because we'd be here, you know, for too long, analyzing a 30-second clip for a 1-second time loss. But all of them added up, and Lowkey was able to make an amazing comeback, get into the end first, and hit a beautiful, beautiful 0 cycle on 94, pushing up to 99. Comfortable 0 here. And, you know, noticing that Doogile entered the end late, didn't have to worry about hitting too many of the double beds, hit 1 here, and 4 rotations, was able to get it done. Really, really nice Seed 5. It felt a bit more comfortable for Lowkey to win Seed 5 than it did for Doogile to win Seed 6. However, let us talk about this Seed 6, because there were a few incidents. There were a few things that went on. First and foremost, Doogile firstly went to the wrong ravine, and then eventually, once finding the correct ravine, actually entered the nether first. So Lowkey made a relatively big mistake. A bigger mistake, I think, than any of the other seeds that we've really seen, especially more than Seed 5. With the portal build, with, I think, 2 pieces of cobblestone, which is something that we don't often see from Lowkey. Into Doogile making a pretty big mistake here on the Bastion. Now, I know that chat may have thought that 2 gold blocks were missed. It was only 1. There's the gold block that did end up getting eaten by the pigs here. Just instantly getting picked up by this pig right about here, which is unfortunate. However, everyone, those that thought that the second gold block had gone, it was in fact a just a ghost block moment. So you can see it get picked up here. It does go to 2 for just a split second, and then goes back to 1. It is still in his inventory by the end of the bastion, so he was able to throw it out and trade it. So that was totally fine. However, it did mean that he had a little bit of time loss throughout the rest of the seed, just because of 1 gold block's worth less of trades. But this is really where the time loss came. trying to block off this lava and placing the wrong block, flowing all the lava out, not being even sure what to do, kind of just F5ing and staring into the void for a second there, and eventually had to try and block off the lava like this. It was really unfortunate. Annoyingly, I've got these clips in the wrong direction because the time loss initially came from finding the fortress, which I think we're going to have to analyze next. It was such a hectic seed that I've actually got them in the wrong direction. But you can see it is just a small misclick here where he's trying to actually click on the right-hand side of this block right here. He's trying to place a block attached to this face, but has just clicked over on the other face, instead bringing it out, allowing the lava to flow left, right, all over the spawner. And while trying to clutch it, he does make it worse by attaching another block right here, spreading it out even further. It was a really, really tough situation. As you can see here, placing another block right there, just flowing it out, not sure what to do, decides to cut his losses and just block off the back of the spawner. Now, unfortunately, I don't seem to have the clip that Lowkey spent getting to the fortress, but I'm sure you guys did notice that Lowkey spent a longer time getting to the fortress, but found the spawner a lot faster, and that was just because of some good play while actually at the fortress, looking around, trying to find that spawner, but actually purling down, struggling to find the fortress from the bastion here. Obviously, a treasure issue. Will we see a treasure in Seed 7? That is the question that's on everyone's minds. And I do think I have a clip of the Zero as well. I do. As the commentators did mention, Doogile is entirely doing this Zero cycle above the void, which I think is a very, very cool situation to be in. Just quite a unique one, and obviously really unique end terrain here surrounding the bedrock pillar in the middle, the bedrock fountain, if you will. Ends up pushing up to a fantastic Zero cycle at the end here. Goes for a double bed, not even really particularly necessary because Lowkey hasn't even entered the end, but the dragon was already dead before Lowkey enters the end. And I like the fact that Lowkey waited for quite a long time before going for this pearl, just to make sure that he doesn't interact with the dragon's hitbox, especially for the fact that it's so low, anything could happen. Like, you know, if a pearl hits the wrong spot while the dragon's flying down, circling above the, above the end fountain, it would be a colossal death in this situation, especially for the fact that it was match point for Lowkey, but now it's match point for either runner. It is 3 seeds apiece here. 3 all. I think this may only be the second time that a Seed 7 has ever happened in ranked playoffs history, if not maybe the third. But it has been a pleasure for me to be in the analysis booth for you guys. Let me send you back to Feinberg and Nerdy for the final seed of Season 6 MCSR ranked playoffs.
And we're back.
Thank you so much, Fulham.
Thank you, Fulham, as always.
That was fantastic. I'm just so excited, Feinberg. I don't know about you. I'm ready to just.
We haven't had a Seed 7 since Season 2. It's been a Seed 7, or in Season 1 and 2. It's been a year since a Seed 7. And what better runners to have a Seed 7 back again for us in Grand Finals, playing for the gold, playing for $1,500 worth of prize money. Again, $3K to first, $1.5K to second, $500 to hacks in third. Playing for the trophy on their rank profile and the bragging rights, the legacy, everything. What seed are we playing? Is it the Seed 7 Rune Portal?
It is.
Wow.
That is awesome. I really respect that pick from Lowkey, giving us what the fans want. Now, is it going to be a looting seed? I mean, we got one earlier today. Is it possible we get another one? You never know. You never know. But in either case, I feel like, Ruin Portals, they have the potential to be so fast. And this is just the best possible choice, in my opinion, to get the most epic final match.
It's either a Rune Portal or a Temple. And what's going to carry that momentum? I mean, as long as it's not an ugly Rune Portal, right? Like, let's get in with some Obsidian. Let's get in with a pickaxe. Let's get in with some blocks. Let's get into the friggin' Minecraft. 1 seed to go. The last time we will be here for playoffs for at least a couple months. A chance for Doog to cement 2 in a row. A chance for Lowkey to cement 3 playoff victories.
And here we go as these runners enter in this final seed. Where's the rune portal? There it is.
There it is.
And fire
aspect
sword.
2.
Oh, I got excited for a second, but it's okay. It's okay. It's still a very fast enter. I'm okay with that.
We've got 2 iron, though. It's ugly. We're going to get a stone axe wood pick probably here.
Yeah.
Could make shears to get beds in the overworld. Just not worth the 2 iron investment, I don't think.
We'll have to see here. Mining the first tree. And meanwhile, Lowkey just, has the tools ready to go.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe a
slight
little bit.
differences in routing here, just like when you're killing the animals. I think
Yeah.
maybe there's an argument that Doog has a less variance when doing this because the pigs don't wander as far, but I mean, they don't wander as far away, but they may not wander as far towards you either, right? Like Lowkey could have the pigs go closer to the rune portal, just a little bit of a variance thing here. But really
And
shouldn't matter.
yeah.
Can't imagine any difference on this overworld within maybe 5 or 10 seconds of each other.
Same decision making as far as what to craft, though, it seems, as Doogile now getting some wood. And Lowkey entering the nether just a hair faster here, as I expect.
Gonna be 5-10 seconds. I think Doog has a little bit more blocks, but that's it. Similar food, I think. I don't know about the
crazy.
pork chop count for Lowkey. Doog's got 8 pork chops. I don't know if Lowkey's just on mutton though.
These runners are going to be routing the bastions a little bit differently, chat, just because they need to get, of course, that extra iron. So that might influence, the way that they approach these bastions. We'll have to see if we notice that at all. But regardless,
I feel like why do I feel like they're going different ways? I think I just got turned around looking at the terrain here. I think they're heading the same way. Bastion finally on Lowkey's screen. It's the stables here.
And there's the bastion for Doogile. So
Could be a lot of variance on what chests you're checking first. There's iron already in that top double. Is Doog gonna check it first? He is. There it is.
And
the pickaxe coming out for both runners.
As we now begin to check these next chests here, get some gold blocks, get some string, get some crying obby. Not anything too exciting yet. No obby yet. And now just digging down, gonna potentially do a, I would imagine.
I don't like this routing from Doog. It's a little slow with the ordering, I think, on mining the gold blocks and looting the chests. He opened up the side, but I don't think it's necessary when you open up the top here and he's got to mine this wood back down. Lowkey heading down. It's a bad gap on the right side. So look at this pivot here now to the middle double here.
See what Lowkey can do.
Into the left side, good gap. Let's see what Doog handles the situation also. It's a bad gap. He's going down, though.
Yeah. And now Lowkey.
Ways of handling the situation here. Lowkey's on the gap gold at 3 flat. Doog going to be on the gap gold probably at 3-10. So 10-second difference here in this bastion. Doog taking a little bit more damage, but has the pork chop to heal it up.
And I think that, it's just a little bit of a lead throughout this seed so far for Lowkey, but nothing too crazy, nothing to give up if you're Doogile by any means. And let's see where Lowkey goes next here. Just going to grab these upper blocks, these backup blocks. And, I feel like we're seeing such similar routing, but at the end of the day, Lowkey's just a little bit faster. I don't know.
Yeah. So unclear here who's actually going to leave the bastion first. Could come down to maybe just having one extra pig follow from the triple to the gap, right? You can leave one trade cycle earlier. That's 6 full seconds. That's almost all the time loss that Doogile has right now. And terrain to the fort, getting to the fort, the pyrite, everything. Fort hasn't been spotted by either runner, so they have to just rely on a direction.
We have 14 obby right now. I mean, that could, change their decision making if they want to go for
14 for Doog as well.
Fort right there. I think it looks like Lowkey's just committing to home portal, I guess. Meanwhile, look at this.
Where is home portal?
I mean, it's just kind of backwards of.
Yeah,
Lowkey's
I thought they
right
had
now.
to run so far for the bastion. Does Lowkey actually not have 20 here?
I'm pretty sure he has 14. I mean, I want to I don't want to fully say
Yeah.
that because could be wrong, but
I mean, dude,
pretty
checking this
sure I
bag
saw
out chest.
14.
There's only 2 chests it could possibly be, and the problem is he have 14. It's only guaranteed 5 obby in the chest, not 6.
finds
He
it.
gets 8 though. He finds it.
So
So
he has
a
the 20
massive
obby.
variance here. Home portal versus 20.
This is completely different. I mean, look, yeah, 14 obby there. Yeah, so I was correct. And that is going to be, I mean, we're seeing completely different routes now. I mean, we're seeing the exact same thing at first, and now we are seeing completely different end games here as there's 5 rods for Lowkey
Look at this.
and
Lowkey
2
has
rods for
5
Doog.
already. He has 6.
Wow.
He's gonna leave on 6.
Yeah, and he's just going to try and find his home portal. Does he remember where it is?
Is he finding his home portal, or Nerdy, is he going back to the bastion to loot the chests and blind from here?
Interesting decision.
That's only
He
18,
finds-
but that's not the 6 obby chest. He knows there's another chest. He's just going to send it here and maybe trade more or get more loot there. He knows that that's not the filter intended chest. Playing enough rank to know that at least 5 needs to be in a chest.
And now going to throw his first eye and measure 5 head plays here, but still.
Crazy
this could
decision
be...
from Lowkey. Crazy decision. If this eye breaks, it broke.
Wow.
He has 11 eyes now. He has to go back to the fort if he wants another one.
Is he going to do it, or
But
is he just going to send it on 11?
is this the right direction, though? Is it back towards the fort this way? I don't remember. Or is he just sending an 11? He's putting the entire playoffs line on a 78%.
That's not good. That's not good
Where's
at
the
all.
obsidian? Where's the chest? There's
an
one spare
obsidian.
trade. He has 9.
Is that one
He
right
has
there? 15.
He left so early on trades. He's going. But Doog is gone now as well. No, he needs 2 more rods. Lowkey,
But
11.
Lowkey,
He's just gonna
is
go.
super risky.
He's $1,500 on a 0 eye.
this could be one of the most
The time
expensive
save is so
0 eyes we've
massive.
ever seen.
He almost just wins the seed if it hits.
Super risky decisions there, but will it pay off for Lowkey? It all comes down to this. I mean, at the end of the day, he also.
I can't believe he's sending it on 11. I cannot believe it on a game 7.
Putting this much up just for variance at the end of the day. We don't know what's going to happen here.
I can't believe I'm so
Is
nervous.
it the same stronghold? It might be. No, I think it's the same stronghold.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I
It's
broke the
portal
sound
room.
barrier.
He finds the portal room. He's scared, but he does find it. He's on 2 hearts though.
Skeleton! Oh, he gets the bed down. He gets the bed down.
Man,
oh my
Lowkey
goodness. He's still
playing
ahead.
with
He's
our
still
hearts
ahead.
here.
If it's 0-ball, he's still ahead. But is
it
there
a
an
1
eye
eye?
in the frame?
It's a 1. It's a 2
It's a 2 eye. He
It
said
doesn't matter.
Oh my god. And the 2 eye.
No. Going for the front tower here.
It's such an easy 0. There's nothing left to choke. There's no
And he
time
closed
left
out
for
this
Doog.
seed.
He's
Leaving
pushing
all of that up to the
99.
0 eye. And it did work out for him. Very solid first bed. This should be just like practice.
Oh my god.
He should be able to close this out. Let's see if he can do
There's
it.
2 anchors.
First anchor.
That's
is very
actually a
good.
bad first anchor.
Oh no,
But it's
you're
fine.
right.
Gets the second one.
Wait,
Oh,
he's right.
oh my god. Dude,
Yeah,
dude,
Lowkey.
you can't. Dude, you cannot do that.
Just
Oh my-
absolutely trying to make this as intense as possible.
As close as possible.
And he does
But he
close
wins
out.
his 3rd playoffs in 5 seasons off of a 2-eye portal. Enters the strong with 11 eyes. He takes the gold.
Wow.
I mean, granted,
Wow.
the eye does need to break for him to even be in that situation. So not only is it the odds of rolling a 0 eye, it's also the odds of the first eye breaking. So if you combine those 2 together, it's probably around a 4 or 5% chance for that play to not work. So that's maybe good expected value for him, right? 96% chance for this insane time save. Your blaze cycle is done on 6. You have to wait a full extra cycle for that 7th rod. He sends it knowing that it's worth it. Knowing that, he still has to go back to the bastion and get that obsidian, so his route's just a little slow. He needs that time save. He pulls it out of nothing. And is never punished. Hits the 0, hits the clutch. Wins his 3rd playoffs.
And that
Dude,
is
again left with 2nd place.
Incredible stuff there from Lowkey. I mean, winning 4 matches against anyone, it can be hard in this kind of playoffs, but against Doog is ridiculous. And Doogile also very well played, put up a serious fight there, taking us all the way to a Game 7. But, Lowkey just proves that he's one of the best, if not the best, winning his 3rd playoffs for Minecraft speedrunning ranked. I mean, that is truly astounding stuff. What a player.
I mean, just like, what a seed 7. Who could have expected? Playing for a 1-eye. In the most important seed these runners have ever played in their life. He plays for the 1-eye and he hits it. I don't know what else to say. The gameplay speaks for itself.
Very, very fun to watch. I'm so grateful to have commentated this last seed. I mean, this last series in general.
Yeah.
This tournament in general. Beyond that, but wow, what a phenomenal final seed. I'm just so glad we got to see a Game 7. I'm so grateful.
Yeah, great day all day today. Great week. Great weeks. Great playoffs as always. It feels like the content only gets better. The players only get better every time. The 1 and the 2 seed squaring off in finals. Their second match, and Lowkey's 2-0 up on the series. But this was the one to win for sure. Going to Game 7, taking it 4-3. Just wonderful stuff. We'll see both these players back in the bracket in Season 7. And again, shout out to Hax and Manji as well, rounding out the top 4. Hax getting that 3rd place prize. Some other great games today. Shout outs to all the runners on the bracket as well. The 4 players that made it through our LCQ, those runners that played it through the first weekend, got to the second weekend, but the big 4 nerdy today and yesterday, they were just too strong. All 4 top seeds in our semifinals, our top 2 seeds in our grand finals. They're proving to the world how far ahead they are of everybody else, and yet how close they are to each other. A Game 7 back and forth. It's just cinema.
It's just cinema. I agree. I fully agree.